Hi, let me show you around the portfolio page. Starting from the top, you have the filters where you can select all assets or just the liquid ones, so excluding real estate or ventures. Then you can select the metric. For metrics, you have market value, returns, return rate, fixed income, and fees. And whenever you click them, the chart changes here. You also have this additional row of metrics down below, but it also makes the table at the very bottom change as well. So whenever you select the metric, you basically set the context for the whole page. The same goes for the date period here. So when I click 1 month or 1 year or 5 years, not only the table changes, but also the chart and the summary here. To see the totals, select max, or you can also click here and select any other period from the list, like holding time, or type in a year or even a year period, like 2 years. You can also navigate back and forth along the years using those buttons here. And lastly, you can pin the date period using the pin button, and then you will have this period pinned and quickly available. The next thing is that you can select the currency that you are using to view the page. So currently it's set to euro. You can set it to anything you want. You can just type it in or select the currency from the list. The list should contain all the currencies that you have within your portfolio. You can also use the project's currency, the default one, but also you can use asset currency, which will set the most popular currency that is within the section you are currently viewing. Lastly, on this row, you can change the settings for how returns are calculated. You can select the calculation method from the simplest one, which is return on investment, to internal rate of return. You can also exclude fees and taxes from the calculations and set it as project defaults. Then you have the charts. As I said before, the charts change with the metrics and also the selection of other chart types that you can choose from. So here we are looking at the returns of this portfolio versus the benchmark, and you can change the benchmark here. You can actually type any asset here, whether you have it in the portfolio, doesn't matter. You can also edit the benchmarks. So you can move them around or add the new one. Then you can compare among different positions or accounts or assets that you have in your portfolio. You can compare them, stack them, have a 100% comparison or an X-ray. The X-ray is a pretty cool feature because it allows you to see the whole thing on a single chart. And here we can see how the allocation is distributed along all the assets and along the accounts, because, for example, this asset is available on 3 accounts at the same time. But you can also see how the returns are distributed, the rates are distributed, or the fixed income that you get from all those assets. And again, you can actually see it on markets, your own tags, categories, or regions. So the X-ray is probably one of those supercharts that you can use to understand how your portfolio is constructed and basically where your fees and income come from. Going down, you can select how the portfolio positions are grouped here, but all those groups can have actually some additional features. Like when you're looking at positions, you can analyze the lots within the positions. So when I click on, let's say, Bitcoin, I can see here that I have 2 lots opened. One which is already half closed, and you immediately can see what are the returns for both of these and the final one. For each row, you can click the three dots here, and for positions, you can edit them directly. So you can update the account balance or the current price for the date you are viewing currently, or you can just edit the asset or delete or add a transaction. Going up, you can search the list. So if I again type Bitcoin here, it will filter the list to show me only the Bitcoin, but it will also narrow down the chart and the summary to only the stuff that I can see here. It not only works with names, it also works, for example, asset type like ETF. I can select to see only active positions, which means the positions that were open or closed during the time period I have selected. So if I select year to date and want to see active only, I have 16 positions here. And when I deselect it, I have 17 positions. So one of them was clearly not active during this year. Then I can print, copy to clipboard, export to CSV or Excel, whatever I see on the list. It's important to note that currently I will print or export the rows that I see here. But if I click this fella here, I will actually open all the rows so I can see all the lots. And now I can copy information about both positions and lots in one go for the whole portfolio. And finally, I can select the columns that I will see in the table. So I can enable them or disable them or sort by them. It is stored for the current view that you are using. So currently we are looking at the metric value, the positions group, and we are using a widescreen, which means that, as you can see, I've enabled the asset symbol. If I go to accounts, it will disappear. So you can actually set it for a particular view that you are using right now. But let's say we want to have this asset symbol on every single view. So once you enable it, you have this option here, apply changes everywhere. It will highlight what changes will be applied. I can click on it. And now the asset symbol will be visible on all tabs. Another thing you can control here is how the rows are being rendered. One is the relaxed, the default view, but also you can use the dense one to fit more rows on the single page. And again, you can apply changes everywhere to have the dense mode enabled on each page. Lastly, this table is used for navigation. So you can actually go into, for example, types and see only the ETFs on your portfolio. Now we are in the ETF, so we see only the metrics for the ETFs. I can go to accounts and see only the accounts that hold any ETFs inside them. Let's say I want to go to the stocks broker. Now we are actually filtering by ETF as stocks broker. So we are going deeper and deeper. And now we can see categories. We can only want to see the large cap equity that we have here. And this is the only positions that we got for the ETF on stocks broker, equity, large cap. Using this button here, you can actually expand to only see the equity large cap on all the accounts, types, and so on. And if I go back, I can also just click on any of those links here to go up within the hierarchy. And the last thing that I wanted to notice that if you click add ETF here, you are able to add specifically the ETF to stocks broker account. If I go to the top level and click add asset, you will be able to add asset anywhere within the portfolio. And using the chevron here, you have update market taxonomies, which will update all visible assets for the taxonomies like categories, regions, sector, or domicile, so you can keep the whole thing updated. So thanks for watching. I think that's all. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.